What's up, everyone, man? Welcome to my podcast again. And if this is your first time, go ahead, subscribe, like, and share, right? So, today is going to be something fantastic, and I hope that you stay to the end so you don't miss all the goodies. So, let's go ahead and get it started. As you already know, some people call me Big Steph, Big Daddy Steph, and things like that. But hey, man, who am I to count? So, as long as you call me and you subscribe, you like the channel, man, you can go ahead and reach out. So, we are going to go deep today on something that I believe is the most underutilized asset most people are actually sitting on right now. And that to me is your story, right? To me is your story, not your resume, not your credential, not your act, not uh, your past, but your actual story, the setback, the pivot, like the moment where you didn't know if you were going to make it. Because here's what is happening in 2026, right? And you guys saw it in multiple one of my video. AI can write content. AI can design logos. AI can build website. AI can generate video in second. But AI cannot replicate what you have been through. AI cannot replicate your experience in a world where we are drowning in artificial content. Like the most powerful thing you can bring to the marketplace is something a machine will never have, a machine will never be able to replicate. That is real human journey, a real human connection. Let's get into it, man. Let's go ahead and get into this podcast. So, I know that a lot of you guys are wondering, like, where is this guy going with this thing? Where is this guy going with this thing? And if you haven't seen it yet, I actually created a guide to show people how to go ahead and monetize your story. And the guide is pinned in the link below, man. Go ahead and get it. And if you are hungry, you want to eat and things like that, go ahead on my website, camelcrunch.com, camelcrunch.com, and go ahead and get you some plantain chip. They are made with olive oil and Celtic salt. But anyway, that is enough ad, man. I'm sponsorized by me. You know what I mean? So let me set the stage for you. Right now, AI generated social media content like automated persona and AI participation in online community are exploding, and it is shifting the way people like interact online. Like brands are pumping out content at scale. Influencers are using AI to generate script, thumbnails, captions, entire episodes. Some people are even like just cloning themselves and let the clone do the podcast for them. By the way, this is me. I'm not a clone, so this is you, a real human connection. And on the surface, that sounds like a threat to like creator, right? Why would anyone listen to you when a machine can produce content faster and cheaper? Here's the flip. All of that AI content has a ceiling, right? It can inform. Yes, that's true. It can inform because it can fetch knowledge from the internet. It can entertain. Yep, that is also true. It can entertain, but it cannot connect at a soul level, like at a human connection. It cannot make someone feel seen. It cannot make someone say, that is exactly what I went through. And connection, real human connection, is what converts follower into customer. Real human connection, listener into buyers, stranger into communities, right? So the most successful solopreneur in 2026 are building profitable businesses through podcasting, linking. I'm on LinkedIn, by the way, shout out. YouTube and AI enhanced content tools. But the one winning aren't winning because of the tools. No, the tool is not what is making them win. They are winning because the tools are amplifying a real story, right? A real voice, a real perspective. That is the distinction most people right now are missing. So this is why your story is a business asset, and this is where you should start paying attention, right? So now let me make this personal, because as you guys know, I like to talk about me, because I'm not you and I'm not everyone else out there. And so another word, I would like to talk about me. I'm not just talking about theory here, man. I came from Cameroon. Central Africa. Some people say it's west. For us, our Cameroonian, we say central. In a whole. Anyways, it's central, right? So I migrated to the United States in like 2028. I mean, not 2028, in 2008. I went to high school in Van Nuys, Montclair Prep, California. Shout out, man. And a kid who didn't fully understand the system, we didn't even speak English, didn't have like the connection, didn't have like the roadmap. I went on to play college football because I was playing basketball in high school. In college, I was playing football at the University of Colorado at Boulder, and then obviously I played 3 years with the Baltimore Ravens. I didn't even get drafted, by the way. I was like a water boy when I first got there. Hey, everybody got their turn, man. So I was like a water boy when I got there because you are like in a fit person. So you gotta wait for all the people that are in front of you to take their reps, and if there are some rep over, you gotta take it then. So the thing is, you gotta maximize your rep when it's given to you, right? You gotta maximize your opportunity. Like Eminem said, you only get one shot, one opportunity, and that is exactly what happened. So I went on there, then I got injured. 3 years in, I got injured. Hip came out, knee came out. So then I had to pivot into corporate America, and I have been working as a Scrum Master for the past 8 years, right? So now I'm what we call a Senior Scrum Master, right? I work at plenty of company, Bank of America, uh, multiple bank, right? I work at multiple bank, and that's been my life in corporate America. And now I am trying to build like a federal government contracting through my company called Montana Speed LLC, right? So I'm running contracting bid, like I'm building a personal brand, of course, through this podcast, and I'm talking to you here every week, right, on this podcast. So the Cameroon to the NFL to agile entrepreneur. That is something AI cannot generate. That is my experience, right? AI cannot generate that experience on how I went from 2008 migrating to the US and then did all the things that I did, accomplished, went to high school, scholarship, college, scholarship, then NFL and things like that. Like AI cannot mimic that. So that is my personal experience. And when I tell you my story, you can relate to it if you went through something that is similar. You can say, oh, I know that is fear. If you're an immigrant, especially, you will be like, oh, this is my brother immigrant that made it. So, hey, I can also do it. That is what I'm talking about, your personal story, right? AI cannot generate that. AI cannot generate that, and AI cannot generate my life experience. And every single chapter of that story contain like lesson that I have learned, that someone either coached me, that a mentor told me, and things like that. And I know that there's someone out there that might be going through tough time and that desperately need to hear something like that. And that is why I wrote a guide on how to monetize your story, because don't be selfish, man. Don't be selfish. Get the guide and learn how you too can monetize your story, because there's someone out there that is struggling, someone out there that just need to hear what you went through, so they too at the end of the day can go ahead and navigate through whatever obstacle they have right now on their way. And by you not monetizing your story, you are keeping them stuck. So you need to go ahead and put your story down. There are people that write a book because they want to share their story. You see a lot of successful people write book because they want to show you how they did it. That's why we read book. We read their story and we can learn something from it. So here's what I want you to understand. Your story is not just a biography. Your story is not a curriculum. Every setback you survive is a module, right, that you can put in a book or in something. Every pivot you made is a framework. Every failure you learn from is a lesson plan that you can coach someone on. The question is not whether your story has like a value. The question is whether you have packed it into the right people, you have packed it right so that the right people can access it and pay for it. Because if you put it in a book, somebody got to pay for it. Go ahead and get my guide, man. I will put it in a comment, in the first comment on this YouTube podcast episode, right? So where was I going? So let me break down like the three-story asset most people are sitting on and not monetizing. Asset number one, the transformation moment, right? Because every powerful story has a before and an after. And there's a version of you that was stuck, broke, lost, overlooked. And then there's a version of you that figures something out. You did. That transformation moment is magnetic because people don't buy product. They buy transformation. They buy time. They buy the possibility of going from where they are right now to where you are. They ask yourself this: what is the clearest before and after in your life? When did everything shift? When is the moment, like the moment that is worth money? The moment that you realize, oh, I think I have made it, or I think I have figured something out. For me, one of those moments was like walking away from like a corporate salary, right? Like a bank. I'm not gonna say whose bank, but walking away from a bank and deciding to building something on my own, building this podcast on my own. That is why I'm fighting to post episode every single week. No guarantee income. I'm still not even monetized yet, so I'm just going through my saving right now. Like a mortgage, like a family to provide for. That is not a comfortable story to tell. But here is the real one, and a real like my story is not comfortable to tell, but it is a real one, and it will resonate real. I think at least you guys can tell me. You guys can leave it in the comment. Like like what gave me the courage to walk away is because I was tired of working from someone for someone else. Like trust me, you make six figure when you're doing corporate America in tech, right? You decided to walk away from that and decide to that oh, you want to start from scratch and build something that you will own. It's not easy because I'm still not even monetized yet, like I was saying, but I am doing it. So you too, you got to figure out. Don't do what I did, because now that I did it, I'm not regretting, but at least like you see, that is why I'm sharing my experience. There could have been some things here and there that I could have done maybe better before leaving, but what I did is done. You cannot go back to that. So, number one was what? Like the number one was like the transformation moment, right? And now number two is a failure nobody talks about. The internet is full of like what we call highlight reel. Like there's a ton of reel out there. Success story, revenue screenshot. I made six figure in 60 days, or I made six figure in 30 days. Like how often do you see those posts, right? You keep seeing those posts all the time, all the time. People are talking about they made X amount of money, and you are looking, if you are like me, and like, how are they making this money? How do they keep saying that they made this money? So the product launch that flopped, like the webinar that underperformed the second time around, because here's one thing I'm going to tell you, right? So most people are desperately hungry, and uh, honest failure is not something that you see often. Like the beat, like you didn't win. A lot of people don't share about those. They share about the one that they won. They share about like the kumbaya, like, oh, I did this, I did that. Like for me, for example, I launched my first webinar. I had like over 33 people. I didn't even expect it. And 32 people show up. I ended up making like $500 in sales, right? It was good. But you know what happened to the second one? I thought I had it. The second one, it flopped so miserably, so bad. Why? Because the equipment gave up on me. The camera wouldn't show and things like that. So I ended up giving up, but that is not the right thing to do, right? You should keep going, because if you are in the moment, like if you are grabbing a little bit of attention, you gotta keep going. Don't stop. Like the webinar, like underperformed, like the second time, like people were like, "What is going on?" So when you share your failure and the lesson you attach, like for example, if I had to do it again, make sure you test your equipment before you go live, because when you don't go live, when you don't test it before, things can happen during the live, and you got to figure out what is going on. Trust me, it happened to me. Zoom just went black, you know. And it ended up being a disaster. The nothing went through, no sales and everything. People started dropping out and things like that. You got to make sure that before you actually go and sit down and do your webinar, make sure that you go live first just to test the machine to make sure that everything goes well. But you have to build trust with people, right? Whenever you are telling your story that is real, something that actually happened, something that would factual that people can verify, like that they can feel like they are part of that story. Because when your success start coming, then people will like, you know what, we saw his beginning, we saw his humble beginning, and people can connect more into those people. So you have to build faster than any marketing campaign can, right? People don't follow perfect, they follow the real one. And trust me, I should have just kept going with my webinar, and I'm going to do it again. That's why I started the podcast. The podcast is for me to improve my public speaking skills, and then the show must go on. I love that sentence from The Wolf of Wall Street. The show must go on. But you know, that is Leonardo DiCaprio that is saying that. But anyway, asset number 3. So on asset number 1, we had to to identify the transformation. And asset number 2, like the step number 2, we had to build content platform that transform, right? So if you guys are here right now, if you guys are listening to me right now, the main thing you need to focus us on is going ahead and getting started. So we have the failure that nobody like to talk about, right? That is one thing, right? The failure that nobody like to talk about, the transformation moment. But what is that third thing? It's called the niche expertise nobody realized you have. I keep telling you, you need to go ahead and share your story. You need to go ahead and your story. But why am I telling you that? Because you have an expertise that nobody is realizing, and even you don't realize. You haven't been in a room you haven't been in a room on field, in boardroom, in negotiation that most people will never experience. Or should I say, you have been in room like that, right? So you have been in those rooms. No one will ever share that experience but you. That knowledge has value. I have been in the NFL locker room, right? I have been agile sprinting session. Like I have done federal contracting. I have done negotiation. Like each of those word has language, insight, strategy. Somebody outside that world is willing to pay for your strategy, for your insight, for what you know, right? The intersection of two or like 3 unique experiences is where your niche is, or is where your niche lives. You are your niche. Your niche is where your business grow. You are an asset. You are the business. So you need to go ahead and start taking action right now. Again, I know you guys are probably tired of me saying it, but at least get my guide. It's only $27, man. Go ahead, and if that can also help you. So how do you actually monetize your story, right? So uh, how do you turn your story into income? Let me give you what I call a framework, not a theory, but a framework. Like step 1, you need to identify your core transformation. What do you help people go? Like what do you help people go from and go to? You need to identify that. Like what do you help people go from and go to? Like you have to be specific, not I help people be successful. That is too vague, right? That is too vague. That is something like it has to be something like I help people. I help first generation, like me for example. I'm going to take me. I help like first generation immigrant build businesses using the discipline they develop surviving in a new country, because all of us immigrants, you had to develop some type of discipline in order for you to be successful. Or you can also say something like, I help corporate professionals monetize their expertise so they can stop trading time for salary. The more specific the transformation, the more powerful your positioning is going to be. Me, because I'm an immigrant, I can use that immigrant line. You know what I mean? But anyway, you step 2 is you have to build content platform around that transformation. Like 1, not 5. Pick the platform where, like I told you guys, I have been struggling a lot going back and forth with multiple places. So you need to go ahead and pick one, not five. Like just pick one platform where your audience is already gathering and show up there every day consistently. For me, this is the podcast. Every week, I'm bringing one episode. I am bringing like a piece of my story, my framework, my lesson, and maybe connecting it to what you are going through, especially if you are listening right now. If you are going through something, I hope that I'm touching it right now. Like over time, that consistency will build an audience that will trust me, or I had already built an audience that is already trusting me, and the trust is currency that can convert, right? Because people trust that you are who you are. You have to be what we call, from Myron Golden. I took this word from him. You have to be congruent. You have to be congruent, meaning you're like, you walk, you talk the talk, you talk your shit, right, because you actually live it, you actually doing it. So now you have to what we call the ladder up, right? The ladder up. Like once you have an entry level product moving, like you build toward a higher ticket offer, like a coaching program, a course, a mastermind. And I'm not very specialized in this, but I know that Myron Golden is. So you can also check out his podcast, so he can coach you on how to create your offer, right? So you can also start with a speaking engagement, like the story that got someone to buy a $27 ebook is the same story. Like my ebook is like $27. It's the same story that earns a $2,000 like coaching client, because now you can take that same ebook and create multiple offer, like in-person workshop, right? You just have to be patient and consistent enough to build that stage. So the authority advantage, where is that coming from? Here's the thing about AI that nobody is talking about enough. AI capability to replace human connection, even online. Like it has real limit. People are starting to feel the difference between content that was generated and content that was lived, right? Because AI generate and you create what you have lived, and they are gravitating more toward like the live version, right? Something that you have actually experienced. Every day that passes where AI content flood the internet is another day your authentic voice become more valuable, not less, more valuable. You are not competing with AI. No, you will never be able to compete with AI, but you are the antidote to AI, because your story is real, your story is lived. 65% of aspiring business owners say that they are likely to use AI to help launch their venture in 2026. That is not your competition, that is your audience, because most of the people who are going to use AI to build something generic, and when it doesn't connect, they are going to come looking for a real person with like a real framework, who's actually done the work, who has actually done the work, like a person who needs you, because yours will be what? More authentic. So let me learn this with this. Your story is not a side note. It is not it is the product actually. It's not a side note. It is the product. The setback, the pivot, the failure, the comeback, all of it has a market. All of it has an audience. All of it has what we call a price tag. What you need to do is to stop hiding it. Somebody out there need you. You need to start packaging it. You need to start showing up consistently to the right people who can, or to the right people, or to the people who can find you, or who can find what you have to offer. That is what a setback to comeback is about. That is what Bless One podcast, Cultural Awareness podcast, that is what it is built for, and that is what it is built on. I am not here to give you theory. I am here to show you that through my own journey, that your story, live honestly and share boldly, is the most powerful business you will ever build. If this episode hit home, if this episode somehow touched your heart, if this episode somehow uh, was entertaining or you like it, go ahead and share with somebody we need to hear. Subscribe if you haven't already, right? Just go ahead and subscribe, man. Thumbs up, you know what I mean? Whatever finger you got to use, just go ahead and subscribe. And please drop a comment. Tell me a chapter of your story that you haven't maybe shared, and yet you know somebody out there need to hear it. I read every single one of my comments. I will see you on the next episode podcast. Don't forget to go ahead and click on the link on the first comment and go ahead and get the ebook guide. I'm sure that it will help you. It's just a simple guide, man. Very short and just straight to the point with a little bit of couple of homework there that you need to start doing right now. God bless again and peace.